Ew! What's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Success with the Tamiya 2.4G. I'm not using the gun barrel stabilization system on here. So, aside from that, everything works. Ooh, hello. She's a jumpy little girl with the sport tune motor. You gotta really ease into it. Then you can get, well, so much for easing into it. May have not been the best idea, the sport tune, but either way, that all works fine. The lights, can't really see them, but yeah, they all work. Little flashy guy on the top, that works. Main gun, she fires. Do that again so you can maybe see it. Yeah, the flash doesn't always show up on camera. But machine gun, all that works. Turn off the blinkies. Turn off the lights. Engine shut down, everything works. So we're good there. Somebody didn't have as much luck. You got to play a little with the deadband adjustment on the actual MFU DMD unit there, and go through the setup. Follow the instructions. If you go through the setup and you do everything very slow and by the book, it all worked. That was my issue. I had to go through the setup again and just do it very carefully. We started painting some details. Get the little red dots on there. Some corner lights are painted on, little bits of orange. It's all kind of hard to see from up there. That being said, we're working on stowage now. So we've got some bits primed, and we've got some wooden handles painted. So you can go ahead and tape off the wood, and go ahead and spray the XF56 metallic gray. Spray those guys on there. I got a little painting to do here. These are supposed to be metallic gray, and I accidentally glued them to the upper hull before painting. So I'm gonna see what I can do about masking this area and airbrushing it. And then same thing goes for these smoke dischargers. All the little caps are supposed to be flat black, so I'm probably just going to do that by hand. Slide some masking tape behind them, and then just get them with a brush, so they look passable. You know, because it's a 16 scale. It's going to be sitting on the floor driving around. So I don't enter any model shows or competitions necessarily, other than the occasional. I did Truck of the Month once on one of the forums. Almost won. Really close. The winner had just a way nicer tank. It was cooler. A little more unique. Solid second place, so I'm in the wild card now for the end of the year bonus. Loser of the year, basically. I don't know what they call it. So we're gonna continue on with bits and pieces of painting, and I will be back. Hey everybody, welcome back. I don't know, Ian, far from pro tip. Any tips you get from me are going to be amateur tips. But with the tools, the little hold downs are usually the same color as the upper hull, or whatever part of the camouflage the hold downs are on. So, seeing this this tank is basically stark white, I got to do white. And then I figured, the lazy man's approach here is, if you just use the thin Tamiya masking tape, you can tape off around all the little straps and all the tools, and then just rather heavy-handedly just slap on whatever you need. I'm trying to make it so I mostly get coverage. I want it to look a little bit see-through-ish to kind of keep with the theme of the shadow-coated undersides here. But yeah, I mean, it makes it, look, you could just get paint wherever. It doesn't matter where you're, now I'm not even trying to paint the item. Let's see. Okay. There we go. And this way, when you glue them down, when you peel it off, and you glue them down, everything will look like it should. That is, if your thumbs didn't F up some of your white paint you already put on another part of the thing. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It was slow going. I had to fix Groot's King Yellow 6x6 Tamiya school bus. The one time, sorry for the women driving badly routine, but the one time my wife drives the school bus for the dog, she friggin' breaks the steering servo horn right off. I'm like, how did you manage to do that? I've driven this bus 50 times in anger, poorly. You know, because the backyard, it's not the biggest area. There's trees, there's lawn chairs in the way, and she drives it once, and kablooey, blows the steering right out of it. I mean, she's like, yeah, it didn't steer well after the first minute. She drove it for a minute, and just completely honkered the steering. Sorry, this guy at my job, he likes saying this funny word. What is it again? Borked. That's it. I love that word. I don't know why. I always get a kick whenever he says that on an email. He says, who borked the server? It's always funny. But yeah, so that's all. The masking tape keeps us from borking the paint job on the little tools. And it makes it go. I wouldn't say it makes it go much faster because you spend a lot of time with the thin Tamiya masking tape. But it's going to give you somewhat more consistent results. I'm using unthinned white here. Thinned Tamiya flat white is kind of a pain in the ass. The coverage is weird. It's just I don't like it. Not a big fan of it. You can see we got this like whatever cable that's integrated into the molding of the engine deck. That was supposed to be painted metallic gray, even if you're doing the camo scheme. So I painted that the best I could. Should have masked that too, because there's a couple of blemishes. But whatever, it's not the end of the world. And again, almost done painting all these tools. You know, and then once they dry, we shall glue them on, and we will have the majority of our stowage complete, and then we can move on with life. So, aside from waiting for paint to dry, I'll be right back, and you'll see it dry, because I couldn't torture you making you wait for paint to dry with me. Okay, guys. Look at that. There we go. All the stowage is done. All those straps are painted. It's not glued down. I don't know why I didn't do it. I didn't do it yet. I don't know why. I'm not sure. And we got our little winch, our little spool. I'm going to leave that guy NATO green and just leave her tucked away in here. I didn't glue that down either. I will. But yeah, we've got, let's see here. We got our little front guys painted. The masking tape system worked out great. Worked out a treat. Oh, this thing moves nice. It rotates. And you gotta you can almost drive this tank with the trims. Yeah, I'm literally driving it with the throttle trim. I mean, was the sport tuned a bad idea? I don't know. It's got the same gear ratios as the I like this. It has a very much it has that sound from the movie Aliens, that servo, electro, pneumatic, whatever. It has that servo-y Aliens, dropship Nostromo, Space Marine sounding turret rotation to it. I really love it. Brings me right back to the 80s. But there she sits right now, fellas. She's looking pretty cool. I'm very happy with it. I got good clearance on the turret, and I'm pushing that with quite a bit of weight, and I still haven't touched the engine deck. So between the tab mount back here and the doubled up washers underneath the turret to the turret ring. We've got the height. Really, that only became an issue because of the Hong Kong-rc chassis. It's a beautiful chassis. I love it. It's a lovely casting. There's just a couple of details that they got just a tiny bit out of whack that kind of makes it a little... It'll work. The chassis works. I've proven it. It's in this tank. I did it. Had to do a little massaging, couple minor mods, washers, and then some strategic dremeling, and obviously the Hentech idlers in the front. But the chassis works, okay? So for the guys at Hong Kong-rc, if you ever redo that mold, try to get the angles a little bit better, and we won't have any of these problems. And also machine your holes out for the screw threads. Tap those holes better. Otherwise, the scale realism having a cast metal hull on this sucker is really nice. Not that you'll really ever see it unless she's dirty side up. It's like the Jeep will put a license plate. If you can read this, flip me over. But yeah, that's a cool tank. I started to mess with this aftermarket MG3 I got. Pardon my head. This 3D printed MG3 from kingkong-rc. I'll be honest. I'm completely baffled by how the machine gun is supposed to mount to the cradle. I'm gonna have to see if they have any instructions on their website, or if they can be of any input. It wasn't very expensive, so if I have to go back and order a different MG3 from a different vendor, oh God, I hope I don't, because you know who that vendor will be, and there's nothing wrong with them. Okay, Axel's model bow. Great service. It's just, when something ships out of Germany from them, it hits DHL parcel, it hits USPS, it takes like 9,000 years to get here. I mean, a ray of light from the sun gets to the Earth quicker than a DHL parcel from Germany gets to the US. I don't know how an e-packet from China for free shipping gets here in like 4 days, 6 days, and a legitimate DHL originated parcel from Germany, a first world country, takes weeks. Drives me friggin' batty. But either way, there's some kind of text notification. The wife wants a lime. We're short on... I have a lime tree. We bought a damn lime tree this year. But of course it's a little baby tree. So it won't be bearing fruit for, I don't know, 3-5 years. So for the next 3 or 5 years I'm relegated to go buying limes. Or just keeping the lime powder substitute handy. I'm not going to get into drink mixers right now. That's a whole nother series on YouTube. Either way, we got good progress. We have a fully functional, operational, base-coated, 1 coat of flat clear, built, ready to go tank. If I put an IR system in this, it's ready to battle. She's good. Of course, we're not going to leave it like that, because I like to destroy all my nice work by weathering it. And I'm not going to go as nuts as I went with the 550 Sheridan. I'll look at that tank sometimes and go, I want to buy a second one, and just paint it to the point that I had it before I weathered it and leave it like that, because it's a really good looking tank. My Japanese Type 10, 0 weathering on it. I don't even know if I want to weather it. I don't even know if I want to put any little bits of spatter on it. It's just such a beautiful, clean, brand new tank, and that's how the Japanese tanks are, so I might just leave it unweathered. But this guy, we're going to do the UN decals, and some, stock out of the box, a couple of those decals, and a little panel liner. I got to experiment with panel liner. I've got my M1A2 Henglong Abrams that I painted a quarter of it white, so I can play with the different gray and black and brown panel line accents to see what looks best. I'm thinking it's either going to be gray or black panel liner that's going to be the best. And then I have to do, I don't know, like some exhaust, some, carbon black, wherever the exhaust is supposed to be on. I think it's here. But either way, maybe here. I don't know. I gotta do some reference photos on the YouTubes. Actually, the tank comes with reference photos, yes. So if we look, there's the exhaust dirt, the exhaust grime, carbon right there. Yeah. So that's where we're gonna. I still gotta paint the caps on the smoke dischargers flat black, But yeah, we got all detailed stuff to do now. This is all going to be bonus stuff. So the next videos are going to be like, I'm going to do this, boom, you'll see it done. I'm going to do this, boom, you're going to see it done. Unless I run into an area where I think I could be of assistance in helping somebody do something better, it's just going to be, all right, we did this, boom, next, we did this, boom. Kind of, okay, you get it. That's how YouTube works. We already, why am I explaining this? You're very smart people. If you're watching how to build an RC tank videos, you're in the upper echelon of the hobby and RC brain trust, let's just say. I'm talking to the smarter people. I appreciate that. I would hate to make videos for morons. That would not be entertaining. Because the comment section that I have, generally speaking, all very good comments. The occasional question, you know, that's like a little off topic, but it's fine with me. I don't care. But man, I think I have the cream of the crop. My 100 subscribers, I'd rather have 100 good ones than 10,000 yahoos all over the place that just subscribe because it's beauty pie or something weird. I don't know. But yeah, I love this tank. This is a cool tank. And don't forget, we have more tanks to come. We have the Jagdpanther waiting in the wings, and then maybe if the Christmas elves are good to me, we might have a Russian JS2. Unless Tamiya surprises us and comes out with a second new tank this year, which I highly doubt. The Sheridan, I'm thankful that they came out with that. If they could do one tank a year, I could live with that. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, if we really get desperate, we may have to start doing some kits or Waltersons or a something or other. There's some other cool stuff coming out from other places, but it's just not Tamiya. I just love the Tamiya. Some of these guys are really catching up, though. Some of these newer designs I'm seeing coming out, a lot of ball bearings, better electronics. Henglong's new 6.0 electronics package looks mighty impressive. It looks really good. I mean, I forget which model tank it was, but one of the guys on the forums, he did a quick little demo of the Henglong 6.0, and damn, it was impressive. Sorry. Little nicotine, I guess. So yeah, I mean, who knows? It might be might be worth it to. I already have 2 Henglongs. They're fine. I might be selling one of them shortly, and then the Abrams. I don't know if I might just keep the Abrams. It's it's good. I could just keep painting it all different colors and practicing all different weatherings on it, and it'll serve a purpose. Sacrificial paint technique building tank, you know? I mean, it might be a little more cost effective to do that with a little cheap 35th scale non-RC model, but whatever. Okay, so we'll be back in the next part with, I might, this is already 10 minutes long now. I don't know, do I want to release a little short video? No. We're going to come back to this tomorrow or the next day and get some decals on it, and hopefully I've figured out and we can start doing some panel liner. That'll be great. Definitely panel liner. Okay, guys. All right, Ian. Be back sort of soon. Bye. Hey guys, we're back in General Assembly. Hopefully we didn't make fun of ourselves too much. We've got decals on. We've got decals. We've got little UN, little flaggy things. We've got a couple in the front end. I decided to not go with any of the. I did a little carbon black there for some soot here where appropriate. We got one on the back here. This guy's gonna be a little difficult to photograph. We got the UN stuff there, a little bit of smoke stains from the exhaust. I googled the exhaust. I did. I googled it. So these decals are drying. They're mostly dry. They laid down decently well. So these are some weird brands. They're all from, different sellers in China and some other places. So, it's not my normal being used to Tamiya decals, but we're just burnishing with one of these little super fine, itty bitty, pointy Tamiya super hard Q-tips, which I love for burnishing decals. They burnish well. Come on. Burnish. Burnish, damn you. There we go. There. It's like getting the air bubbles out of a vinyl wrap job. Yeah, those prop masters for Fast and the Furious, they must have loved putting on different vinyl wraps and decals. I mean, it probably describes 90% of the cars in that movie. Alright, so we just basically followed our what-if scenario and tried to mimic what-ish it may look like if there were 2A6s in UN service. So I kind of followed along with sort of how the French Leclerc tank looks and how the old 1A5s used to look and other modern and not so modern armored fighting vehicles in UN service. So there we go. This leads us to now, obviously, we have to dull coat over the decals. Sorry, I hate when I hit the camera, it makes so much noise. So what we do not use over decals, especially Tamiya's own decals, we don't use any Tamiya dull coat or flat clear, because it eats the decals like I eat friggin' pizza. So instead we use here's an unmolested label. I like this stuff. Testers dull coat. That works. And if you're doing semi-gloss, Model Master, which is also, I think, is this? Oh, this is a Rust-Oleum brand, Model Master. That works well. It doesn't eat decals, and that's if you're doing a semi-gloss. But do not ever spray this stuff onto your decals. After you've cleared over your decals and you're done with your weathering and your chipping and all that stuff, yeah, go ahead and use the Tamiya dull coat. I like it. But other than that, we use the testers over the decals. So I'm going to give these guys a little more time to flash off and dry here. And then we're going to clear. I've already cleared everything else. Oh, also, not that it's super visible. It wasn't super visible. The gap was visible. Now that there's white in there, I got a piece of styrene, I think a .030, and I filled that little gap with a little sliver of styrene plastic, and it's white to begin with. I hit it with a little paint, and glued her in there. And in all honesty, it's proud of the Hong Kong chassis a tiny bit. It's flush with the Tamiya upper hull, but it's proud of the Hong Kong. I mean, if I wanted to really get crazy, I could take another piece of styrene and go along the front edge of the kingkong-rc lower hull and then build it at. Oh my god, I can only go so far. At least there's no giant gap anymore. And weathering, like I said, paint hides all sins. No, but weathering hides the paint sins, and the combination of that decals, chipping, weathering, and other washes. Oh, I forgot to paint the smoke dischargers. I'm gonna get those painted while I'm waiting for the decals to dry. I'll be right back. All right, boys. Well, I only had a little bit of time for tonight, but I think I'm gonna close this part out. We've got our little smoke dischargers all painted up, and I'm going to hit it with some flat clear. I'm going to let that paint dry, and I'm going to do those and all the decals at the same time with the flat clear. When we come back, next episode, I'm going to be doing some experimenting on my previously seen Henlong Abrams that I partially painted white. I'm going to do some experimenting with different panel liners. We've got a total of 4 here. We have our old friend, the black panel line accent color, dark brown, which we've used previously, and then I have, let's shake them up, we have gray, dark gray, and gray. Gray and dark gray. Okay, arm's length, make a line, people. This stuff ain't cheap. $6.99. Hobbytown, USA, you get too much of my money. But you're right there, half an hour away. So, we're gonna... Now, I've been watching some Gundam stuff, and really it's a toss-up. People use all of these. They'll use gray, they'll use black, they'll use dark gray. So, I'm just gonna see what looks good on the Tamiya flat white. And this thing's got a lot of little nooks and crannies, guys. I mean, I gotta hit every single bolt head slash rivet slash seam. There's a lot of seams. There's all these steps. Then after all that's done, we clear over that, and then we start our chipping and weathering. And there's this one shop out of, I think, South Korea that's doing custom painted henglongs in a very beautiful paint. I mean, they're doing lovely paint jobs. It's a shame it's on a henglong. No, I'm just kidding. It's just, if you're going to spend that much time and effort, and it still has massive deficiencies. Not that this doesn't have a couple deficiencies. Kingkong-rc, thank you very much. But yeah, the chipping is going to be uncharted territory for me. Again, I've never built like a Gundam model, and this is the closest thing I would say to how I'm going to weather it. It's going to be kind of half Gundam and half war-torn, not war-torn tank, but, you know, patrol-torn. They're UN peacekeepers. I don't know how many times Big Bertha is going to go boom-boom during UN peacekeeping missions. I honestly, when the UN has a NATO main battle tank and it's stable and it's driving those around, I'm really wondering how many times they let one of those 120 millimeter shells off the leash, because most of the places they're going are third world-ish. They don't necessarily have the best equipment, nor would, I don't know, who knows? Maybe they do. But either way, I'm gonna, you know, it's gonna look somewhat used. It's not gonna be Vietnam dirty, but it's gonna be a little dirty. Just a little. That's how I like my tanks. Just like my women. Just a little dirty. Oh, stop it with the silliness. Hardy har. Either way, I also got to figure out that MG3. That's gonna. I may just order another one. I don't know. This thing 3D printed stuff. It very hit or miss with me, guys. Sometimes I'll get something that's 3D printed, and I'm like, this is great. Fits perfect. Looks great. Goes together easy. Very intuitive. Other times I get it, I'm like, is there a YouTube video and what the hell to do with this thing now that I have it? I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to figure out where they fill the gas tanks on this and, you know, use some oil stains, you know, make it look hastily fueled, you know. But, yeah, this is one of the coolest, I mean, every tank I build, I say, this is one of the coolest tanks I've ever built. I don't know. This is one of the most trying tanks I've ever built, thanks to Hong Kong and their chassis. Again, this isn't a complete do not buy. This isn't Mr. Kramer on that Mad Money show, you know, sell, buy. I mean, it's a nice chassis, scale realism, cool, little extra weight maybe, which is fine. A lot of people like that. It's cool to the touch, like real metal, which is nice. But other than that, the fitment issues, I found all sorts of other things going on today. When I was fitting this filler panel, I found that this wasn't seating. This part was splayed out. I had to push things in and glue them and hold them. And there was a lot of stuff kind of out of whack because of the rigidity and straightness of that metal chassis. In all honesty, I can't recommend buying it. Hong Kong did right by me on eBay and did reimburse me a little bit. Not a full refund or anything, mind you, because I'm keeping it, so I don't expect to get a free product ever by whatever means. It's just crappy. But they did compensate me basically to cover my Hentech idler gears that I paid for. So that was a nice thing. You know, thank God Daryl Turner and, you know, he's at that Edo Armor warehouse, and he got my, you know, Hentech idler setup out to me. But yeah, so as it. So we're getting into weathering. Starting the next part. I will see you next time, guys. Peace out.